Hi everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to our channel at Dwelling Solutions. Are your tenants unable to pay rent? And are you struggling with the issue of no rent coming in and just don't know what to do? Don't worry, in this video we'll be telling you what to do and showing you what the key things are that can help you. But before we start, let me tell you a little bit about us. So who are we? We are Dwelling Solutions, are a team of property experts that are dedicated in empowering people like you with all property matters by guiding and supporting you, whether you're a landlord, a tenant, a homeowner or an investor. This channel is for you. We've been established since 2006 and we've over the years managed a whole load of properties, and during that time we have taken on problematic properties where landlords have struggled with tenants and tenants have struggled with landlords. And what we found is during that time, in resolving the issues, the number one key that has always worked for us is communication. The second is our expertise and experience. And the third is to have a very clear system in place to help resolve issues effectively. Now, what's happening right now is completely unbelievable. It is unprecedented times. Everybody is financially affected. There are hundreds and hundreds of tenants that are unable to pay rent and loads of landlords that are totally stressed out and don't know what to do. It is for that reason we've decided to do this video, to reach out to those that need help. So let's get cracking. Let's tell you what we can do. Now, if I put it in context to you, when COVID-19 hit in March and April and lockdown was announced in the UK, it was a very hard time even for us. It was something that was completely surreal. It was unexpected. It happened suddenly. We were totally caught off guard. That happened to a whole lot of people. But we were fortunate enough to know what to do because we applied the same formula. And today we're going to give you that formula. So let's get cracking. What do you need to do to resolve this issue? The number one thing that you need to do first is you need to have a plan. That is the first thing that we did with all our landlords and still do. What is their contingency plan? Because look, at the end of the day, what's happening right now is in nobody's control. Industries are closing. People are losing their jobs. It's not something where someone has decided out of choice. It is something that is happening worldwide. So we are advising our landlords to have a plan. So for you, the first thing you need to do is have a plan. What are you going to do if your tenant is unable to pay? Just in the immediate situation. If you don't have any savings, one of the first things that you could look to do is to get a mortgage holiday. What I mean by that is you can actually get in touch with your mortgage provider and request to have a holiday payment. It was originally 3 months, but it has been extended to 6 months now. In fact, we've got a link at the bottom of this video where you can click and all the details are there for you. But if you do go down that route, as and when you need to, please make sure you've got all the information to hand, because there is interest for you to pay and it is something that you will be liable for. So it's important you know whether you can get it, what is involved and how much it's going to cost and what you need to do. Because the moment your tenant is not able to pay, you can at least use that to alleviate some pressure off yourself while you resolve the issue. The second, most crucial, is communication. The moment you know your rent is late or your tenant has not paid your rent, it's important that you actually contact the tenant. And I don't mean where you hound the tenant or you are aggressive with the tenant. You have to have empathy. You have to be sympathetic with their situations. Because look, at the end of the day, right now, as a landlord and as a tenant, you have to communicate. You have to work together to understand each other's position. A tenant is not able to pay rent for a number of reasons. By you communicating with the tenant to understand what their circumstances are, have they lost their job? Are they going to be are they on furloughed? Are they going to be able to get any form of help? By understanding what their situation is, you are now understanding what to do to fix it. Because without understanding that, you're not going to know how to resolve it. In the same token, it's very important for you as a landlord to tell the tenant what your position is. That's one of the things that we have found over the years that is a stumbling block, because a tenant will think the landlord's going to be okay, they can carry on paying. No, they can't. And we have actually had to educate a lot of our tenants about our landlord situation, that if they don't pay their rent, tenant doesn't pay the rent, mortgage doesn't get paid. Mortgage doesn't get paid, property gets repossessed. So it's important that the tenant works with the landlord. The other thing the landlord also has to do is communicate to the tenant that the rent still has to be paid. It's not where it's free. It's the same as a mortgage holiday. Still has to be paid. You're just giving them a little bit of time and working with them. By you having that clear communication, you have an understanding. And through both communication and understanding, you can arrive to our third point. What are your options? Now, the government has put a lot of things in place to help people that are struggling with rent. Now, admittedly, the government websites are not very user-friendly and are not really something that the normal person will understand what to do. And we did find a lot of tenants calling us up and a lot of landlords calling us up for help. So we did think that actually if we might have to do a separate video just on options. But to give you a snapshot, there are options available. So if someone has lost their job and is not able to pay the rent, you need to explore the option of how they're going to continue paying the rent. And one of the things that you could do is look at benefits. The government has increased benefits and you are able to apply for benefits, especially if you've lost your job or have lesser income. You can apply for it. The second thing as an option that you could do, there are allowances that you can apply through, again, through benefits department to allow you to clear one-off payments. The other thing is there's a lot of key supporter hubs that are available to help tenants manage their finances, to work out where they can make savings, where they can borrow money from. The problem is a lot of this information isn't freely available, and we've got to know about it because we're in the industry. So because we deal with a lot of properties that have problematic issues, we kind of like have a know-how in that. That is the reason why it is important that you research those and key into those options to allow you to find a resolution of how moving forward the rent is going to be paid. The second part that is very, very important is that you as a landlord must stay in control of the situation. So when you're talking about options to a tenant, it's not about just listening to what the tenant says. It's about having a clear understanding. Do you want to remain at the property? If you do, how are you going to pay the rent? How can I help you get what you need to pay the rent? Because that is key. Once you've established what your options are, the next thing is to look at how are you going to clear the arrears. And that is our fourth point, is to have a payment plan. It's very, very important. A payment plan is set up. Please do not do it verbally. You have to have something in writing. Again, if you want help in finding out how to do payment plans, put it down on the comment section. We'll definitely give you some form of guidance regarding that. But setting up a payment plan, it's very, very crucial that it is realistic, it is manageable, and it's agreeable by both parties. That means you can't ask for a ridiculous amount being paid, and you can't expect for the arrear to perhaps be cleared in a month. It may take longer than that. It may take a few months. but it has to be manageable for you as a landlord of collecting the rent and for a tenant paying the rent. So having a payment plan is very crucial. The options is for future rental. The payment plan is to clear the arrears. And the final thing that we want to say that is very, very important, so point 5, is deposits. Please do not use your deposits. It is a very quick way of clearing the arrear. It's sometimes seen as a very quick option, but we as agents will not recommend that at all. The reason why, the rent is there to be paid by the tenant, and the deposit is there for the property, is to make sure the property is given back in the same condition. If the tenant is in arrears and leaves the property, by all means you can use the deposit. But if you're going to use the deposit while the tenant's in the property and you're going to put it towards the arrears, you're not going to look at the options, you're not going to look at the payment plan, you might well find yourself still having to look at those options because the deposit may get used up. But if you haven't resolved the issue of how they're going to get help to pay the rent in future and how they're going to clear the arrears, you may actually realize you've lost both sides. The deposit for protecting the property, and you're still back into square one of having no rent. So please do not try to use the option of deposits. I hope this video has been helpful, and if it is something that you want more information on, please put comments below. Let us know what information we can help you. We are here to assist you. Hope you liked the video. Please click the subscribe button, and we look forward to seeing you very soon. Take care.